First snap. Franklin nestles under center. Takes the snap. Takes the knee. The Tigers have won the SEC East.
Well, just amazing. I mean, what an unbelievable story. And
here comes the crowd onto the field to celebrate with their Tigers. They brought the goalpost down, but they can't keep those black-clad students away from the middle of the field.
Henry Josey with the game-winning touchdown against Texas A&M. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to Mizzou Extra. We're live at the AT&T Dome just outside of Dallas, Texas. Jim Rake alongside Brittany Pieper, my co-anchor. You got your game face on?
Always.
We're going to have an exciting 90-minute pregame show.
Now, I've been doing a little bit of homework. We have some stats for the Big 12 versus the SEC. They've been playing those two conferences here in the Cotton Bowl, not here, but the Cotton Bowl in general, for the last 15 years. 5 wins for the Big 12, 10 for the SEC. But in the last decade, the Big 12's only won this game once, and that was Mizzou.
Over Arkansas.
Back when they were in the Big 12.
Right. And you know what? This week, the reporters have been just dogging the two coaches, trying to get them to say something about the rivalry between the two conferences. They wouldn't say a thing, but KOMU8's Chris Gervino takes a look at the rivalry between the two conferences.
when it comes to playing in the SEC, it's all about proving your worth, not only in your conference, but also to everyone else. The SEC had the most schools in the AP Top 25 preseason poll with 6. And by the end of the season, the league still had the most, this time 7. So when it comes to bowl season, instead of competing against each other, it's about competing with each other, conference versus conference.
Now that they're in the SEC, you don't only play for your school, but you play for your conference, because as it goes on, they start logging them. What league has won the most. It's just a responsibility you have when you're a member of a league.
But for the Tigers, this one comes with a little more pressure.
Me as a senior, I played 2 years in both conferences, and it's definitely something where we have to show that we belong, in the SEC.
People still obviously don't think we're supposed to be in the SEC. I mean, I remember Coach Stoops saying that Big 12 or SEC defenses, are not very good and stuff like that. So, I mean, it'll be good to go out there and stop them every chance we get.
For the Mizzou Extra, Chris Gervino, KOMU8 Sports.
Chris, thank you very much for that report. This is the front sports page of this morning's Dallas Morning News, and it talks about the similarities between Missouri and Oklahoma State, mainly in the fact that most of the players come from the state of Texas. With more on that story, KOMU8's Maddie Glab. Maddie?
There's a bond and almost a sense of pride that a lot of the Mizzou players share. They're from the same state, Texas. A lot of guys have also shared some of the same memories growing up. And when there's a bowl game in a state where, according to Mizzou, half the football team is from, there's also a few problems.
Each player on the Mizzou football team gets 6 tickets for the Cotton Bowl. But when there are 32 guys on the team from Texas, you can expect a lot of family and friends want to be in the stands.
Probably thousands.
20 at least. Family who couldn't come up to games and stuff like that. More friends that couldn't make it to Missouri.
32 players, plus their family and friends, equals one big problem.
I mean, with the 6 tickets we got, and I think there's 20 who else wanted to go to the game, and my dad bought 10. So I've been begging. But
there aren't enough tickets to go around. There's not enough. There's too many Texas people on the team and not enough tickets.
I need them. So if you find them, I need them.
And those tickets are valuable to players going home.
A lot of guys are from Dallas and the Houston area, so it's good for us to get back and see our families. We haven't seen them in a long time.
This is a home game. I'm like, the stadium 10 minutes from my house. All my family's going to be there. My whole town's going to show out there.
I just think it's really cool. It's kind of my hometown. I can go back and hopefully get a win.
That is awesome. I am happy about that, to play on Texas soil.
I never saw it coming, so it's a great feeling to go back home in front of my family, last college game, and it's going to be a good atmosphere out there.
It may just be a ticket, but for a lot of the Texas Tigers, it's a chance to showcase their talents for possibly the last time to those who aren't able to see them perform every Saturday of the season. For the Mizzou Extra, I'm Maddie Glab, KOMU8 News, Arlington, Texas.
Maddie, thank you very much. We are live at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, and if you just happen to look behind us, the Oklahoma State Cowboys have arrived for the first time for the 78th annual Cotton Bowl. Brittany?
In addition to the Oklahoma State team, we're also starting to see some of those fans trickle into the stadium. A lot of fans are going to be here tonight, more than 80,000. It's a sellout crowd, but some of those fans earlier today got out in the community here in North Texas and did a little good, and Eric Hilt caught up with them earlier.
That's right. Missouri fans and Oklahoma State fans probably won't be exchanging many pleasantries once the game starts in a couple hours, but this morning they put aside their fandom in order to help out the North Texas community. Tonight, Mizzou fans and Oklahoma State fans will pack AT&T Stadium to watch the two teams fight against each other. But this morning, some fans took time to work together to help North Texas.
This is a day when we're all working together. Tonight we'll be competing, and we know who will be on top. But today we're all going to work to help and contribute to this community.
We saw like a little bit of black and orange, and then we turned the corner and it was just all black and gold. So we're very proud to be Mizzou fans.
Dozens of Tiger and Cowboys fans volunteered at the North Texas Food Bank, sorting and packing food to help the Dallas area's hungry population.
Since we got here a day early and take time to serve the community that is welcoming us for a short period of time.
Oh my gosh, here we are. Here we are all together, filled this whole room, and got to work.
And that help was very appreciated. About 1 of every 4 kids in North Texas goes hungry each day, and the help from the Cotton Bowl visitors came at just the right time.
I can't express how excited I am because, in all honesty, everybody comes and volunteers during the holidays, but it's always after the holidays where we desperately need volunteers. We couldn't be thankful enough.
Eric Hilt, KOMU 8 News, Dallas.
Eric, thank you very much. Once again, we're live here at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. If you're just joining us, the Oklahoma State Cowboys have arrived on the field for the first time this afternoon. It is 72 balmy degrees here inside the stadium.
The perks of playing in a dome.
Correct. It's probably a little cooler outside.
Yeah, we have 2 other crews that are outside. One is at the Mizzou Alumni Tailgate. The other is Megan Murphy and Emily Spain. They are right outside the stadium as fans are starting to get here for the big game. Meg?
Hey there, everybody. We're out here on the west side of the stadium, the Missouri side. The Mizzou band just got on stage and started playing the fight songs.
There was a lot of smack talk leading up to this.
It really was.
They had the OSU side on the big screen and the Mizzou side on the big screen. They're talking a lot of smack, but it's a great environment out here. You might be able to hear Marching Mizzou play.
I think you probably can. It's 5 o'clock and the doors just open, so you can see the fans are starting to usher their way on in. Everybody's really excited. The atmosphere is just electric out here.
A lot to do out here, too. There was a firefighter race, and there's people taking pictures of the Cotton Bowl trophy, so it's been a fun time out here.
It has been. Yeah, the Cotton Bowl trophy line, that was a long one. Everybody wanted that. The great thing about this matchup is that 2-loss season Missouri's had and the 2-loss season Oklahoma State has had.
Say that they're pretty evenly matched.
Right. There's been kind of a board, people trying to decide who they think is going to win, a poll.
But we're going to send it now over to KOMU 8's Nick Thompson, who has a little bit more deeper look at that comparison between OSU and Mizzou.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here at the Arlington Convention Center, just a few blocks away from the stadium, and the Mizzou Alumni Association is throwing a Texas-sized Cotton Bowl bash here. Now, fans are really excited, but this is a Cotton Bowl berth is the second berth here for Missouri in recent years, but it's also a second time that Missouri has just missed out on the BCS system. The BCS can only take 2 teams from one conference, so this year the SEC got Alabama and Auburn into the BCS system, but Missouri was not able to be a part of that. Now, next year, it'll switch over to a playoff format. A selection committee will call the shots. They'll pick the top 12 teams in the country, pick who plays for the national title, as well as for another series of top games. But this year, Missouri was left out of that process, even though they spent a latter half of the season in the top 10. This Missouri Tiger football season is almost as notable for what could have been as it is for what it was. When the Tigers had a late lead in the third quarter of the SEC championship game against Auburn, they were a quarter away from possibly playing for it all in Pasadena. They were also in line for a possible Sugar Bowl berth. The Cotton Bowl is a top-tier post-New Year's Day bowl. but in some ways it's a concession for a program that has never had a BCS berth. This year marks the second BCS miss for Missouri, but the Tigers are still excited for the opportunity to go bowling in the Lone Star State again.
You know, obviously got respect for Oklahoma State. They're a very good football team. And, you know, it's a good, I think the Cotton Bowl's got a great matchup. We got two really good teams that have had really good years. You know, it's going to be important for us, and we're going to work hard and try to play our best.
In 2007, the Tigers lost the Big 12 title game to Bob Stoops' Oklahoma Sooners. The two-loss Tigers got a Cotton Bowl invite. Meanwhile, the Kansas Jayhawks got to go to a BCS game, the Orange Bowl, even though Missouri beat Kansas head-to-head in Kansas City. The BCS isn't always sympathetic to two lost teams whose last loss comes in a conference title game. This happened last year in the SEC. Georgia lost to Alabama in the title game, and one-loss Florida got to go to the Sugar Bowl instead of Georgia.
I'm going to tell you that I think it's a crying shame if Georgia doesn't get to go to a BCS bowl game. They should get to go to a BCS bowl game. They played a tremendous game out there today. That was a great football game by both teams.
The BCS has created an exciting, high-stakes regular season, but some argue it's also led to a series of snubs for power conference schools. Missouri could eventually benefit from the new postseason selection system that the NCAA will start using next year.
The Mizzou football team isn't the only group under pressure. Coming up, we'll explain why Marching Mizzou's only game preparations came close to kickoff.
And the story about the Cotton Bowl you've never heard about. Imagine rolling up the carpeting in your family room every single weekend. That's next.
And temperatures are down in Texas right now, are in the 40s and 50s, so it's a little bit warmer there than it is here, but we're actually going to see temperatures tonight only around 25 degrees. Also right now, looking at our winds, they are pretty high right now, right around 16 in Columbia and 25 over in Kansas City. They're going to stay between 10 and 20 miles an hour throughout our night, and our temperatures are feeling, this is what our wind chills are, 19 degrees in Columbia, 23 in Jeff City, 25 in Versailles, and in the next 12 hours, again, our temperature isn't really going to fluctuate too much, but our wind chills are going to be down in the teens. And we can also see that we are in a winter storm watch right now, and we're going to talk about why that is and all the factors going into that coming up in just a little bit.
3rd and 1. Josie running left, cuts it back right, gets a breakaway to midfield, to the 40, being chased to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the house. Henry Josie, Angleton, Texas, explodes.
Hello there, everyone. We're coming to you now live from Dallas. We're here in front of AT&T Stadium. We're on the Mizzou side.
Yes, we are.
Be able to hear Marching Mizzou playing Hey Baby. It's a good time.
Right, we saw the Golden Girls, we saw Truman, everybody's out here. One of the great things about the Cotton Bowl being in Dallas is it's such a large Missouri community. The largest alumni association for the University of Missouri is right here in Dallas, and we found one.
We did find one. She's a pretty cool one because she used to work where we work now. We're going to bring her on now.
Come on, this is Chris Budden, a 2006 alum, and you worked at KOMU, and now you're an NFL sideline reporter and also freelancing for ESPN.
Yeah, I work doing NFL games for Fox, and some of my coworkers are actually calling this game, and did a couple SEC games. Actually got to cover a Mizzou game when they played Vandy, so kind of full circle. It's been a fun year.
Absolutely. What's your first season been like working on the sidelines?
It's been a lot of fun. You know, the difference is I was in Tennessee and you cover one team all year, and now it's like I spend my entire week studying new teams, and but it's been fun. You know, I haven't gotten to cover the NFL until this year, and so getting to cover new teams and new players every single week and go to different cities, different stadiums, it's been a ton of fun.
Oh, I bet it is. And your heart's in college football, though, with this Missouri, with those Missouri roots. What do you think about the game tonight? What do you think is going to happen?
I think Mizzou has a good chance in this one. The receivers are so big. Michael Sam and the defense that they have. Been totally impressed by this team. It's my first time as a fan going to a Mizzou game in 10 years, so I'm excited.
That's good to hear. Thank you so much for being with us. So good to see you. All right, it's been a lot of fun here.
There was some Mizzou pep rally going on.
Yes.
Right now, so that's why it's so loud. And it's a little windy out
A little bit windy. The band sets the scene, though, if you can hear us over there.
They really say a lot about the Tigers.
KOMU's Green Lineker has been covering the band this week, and you had spent a lot of time with them.
Well, I'm loving the performance currently by the Mizzou band. But you guys just wait. The biggest performance of all is going to happen on the field tonight with Marching Mizzou taking the field, and of course the Oklahoma State band taking the field as well. They've
It's a performance to remember for the 300-plus marching Mizzou band members and Golden Girls.
I've been counting down the days till we got to leave, and just being here is incredible. I'm so excited to perform, so excited to be here and cheering on the Tigers.
But they've been a little low on practice time. The whole crew practiced yesterday for the first time since their performance at the SEC championship game.
It's always a challenge whenever you have to perform in a new environment. So, part of being a musician is being able to adapt to your surroundings. And so we just try to prepare them for every curveball that they're not normally used to.
Keeping the fans spirited isn't always an easy job.
The biggest difference for us is the lack of rehearsal time. Because we have, today to rehearse, and that's about it. So it's really crunch time. We really have to focus and make sure that we remember all of our drill from when the semester ended a month ago.
Even if the Tigers don't become victors today, the band will keep on playing. In Allen, for Mizzou Extra, Bryn Whitaker, KOMU 8 News.
Exciting to see Marching Mizzou perform later in AT&T Stadium. It's an amazing facility.
Oh my gosh, we walked in, we had to take a look, and you just keep walking down and looking up. It was, yeah, it was really pretty cool. Our weather here is pretty fantastic. I mean, we really can't complain. A little bit of wind,
no
but
snow here.
no. KOMU 8's Kenton Joyke is going to have more with your forecast there in mid-Missouri. How you doing, Kenton?
Hammond, Missouri, welcome back. It's 5:19 right now.
And this is a live look over Highway 63 this evening. First the snow, then the bitter cold, and now more snow. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Paige Travis. You're watching our Mizzou Extra pregame special, and while most of the action is going on in Dallas, we have more winter weather headed our way here in mid-Missouri. Let's go right over to Kenton for a look at your forecast.
Thank you so much. Looking at our satellite and radar, we do have a little bit of cloud cover up to our north, but otherwise here in Missouri, more snow here on Wednesday as we slowly warm up here towards the end of our week, and we could see some melting by the end of the week.
Flu cases on the rise in mid-Missouri. What you can do to keep you and your family free of the flu. And a 23-year-old is dead after a Columbia shooting. What the community is doing to honor his memory. We are following other local news this evening. Friends and family members have started a memorial for a man who died from a gunshot wound. 23-year-old Dante Tolston was pronounced dead early this morning. Police say a woman arrived at the home and found Tolston with a gunshot wound. It happened in the 2000 block of Newton Drive last night. His brother told KOMU 8 News Tolston was a thoughtful person and was a big video gamer. This is a video of Tolston participating in a protest demanding higher paying minimum wage jobs this past August. He attended Hickman High School, and police do not have any suspects just yet in the case. And Columbia police arrested a suspected shooter last night with the help of an anonymous tip. Police arrested 21-year-old Lamitro Wiltz on 4 counts of first-degree assault, armed criminal action, and unlawful possession of a firearm. The arrest was in reference to an early December shooting on Switzler Street. Officers arrested Wiltz around 10 last night on West Worley Street. And the number of people who are catching the flu bug is on the rise in Boone County. The Columbia-Boone County Department of Public Health and Human Services has reported 89 flu cases so far this season. There are 2 types of flu, influenza A and B. Influenza A is the most common right now. Employees suggest seeing a doctor as soon as you start feeling sick.
Normally it affects anybody, in the polarized ages, so very young and very old. But right now, with the H1N1, we're seeing a lot more of young, healthy people being affected.
The department saw an increase of 14 flu cases between December 15th and December 28th. That's the biggest weekly spike of the season so far. And the 2% tax levy on telephone landlines to fund 911 public safety answering services in Boone County has been eliminated. A sales tax to fund a new 911 joint communications service was approved on the April 2013 ballot. Because that sales tax was approved, the landline tax was removed. And a group looking to require voter approval for any new terminals at Kansas City International Airport gathered enough signatures to pull the proposal on a ballot. The city clerk confirmed the Friends of KCI gathered more than enough signatures on petitions. The petitioners want to place a question on the April ballot barring the city from advancing any plan to demolish or replace terminals at KCI without voter approval. And we have two Mizzou superfans today. The first is one-year-old Brady Sullivan. His mom says he'll be curled up in his favorite Mizzou chair with a stuffed Truman to watch the Cotton Bowl tonight. Thanks to Katie Sullivan for the photo. And our final Mizzou superfan of the day is Ashley Colley. Here she is at the age of 2, which was 2 decades ago. We were thrilled when her parents, Ben and Cindy Colley, submitted these photos because Ashley is one of our own. There she is now. She's covering the Cotton Bowl for us, and Ashley has been working for KOMU covering Mizzou since 2009. She started as part of a school program when she was still at Hallsville High. Ashley truly is a super fan, and she really is a super colleague. Coming up next, what officials are saying about a major warehouse fire in Chicago this morning, and how 2 American basketball players were finally released from Libyan security. You're watching a special edition of KOMU 8 News at 5. The first major snowstorm of the year delayed air traffic across the country. As many as 30 planes set on the tarmac at Chicago's Midway International Airport for almost 4 hours overnight. Southwest Airlines said the backup resulted from delays that began Thursday night, with arriving planes stuck with nowhere to go. LaGuardia Airport reported almost 300 flights canceled, 200 canceled at John F. Kennedy International Airport, while nearly 300 flights were canceled at Newark Liberty International Airport. All 3 airports are now open. And a 7-alarm fire breaks out in Plattsmouth, Nebraska, damaging a cluster of buildings built in the 1800s. The fire department there arrived to the Courthouse Pub sometime around 11 last night. Firefighters are on the scene, and they're still looking for the cause of the blaze. And to world news now, 2 American basketball players who were detained in the Libyan city of Benghazi have been released. The players are in Libya to play for the Al-Hilal basketball team. The president of the basketball team says they were released last night after their identities were confirmed. Plus, he's the first unanimous All-American to come from Mizzou since 1960. Coming up, we'll let you know which other talent could someday win this Tiger an award.
They fake the end around. In trouble, Murray, and the ball is out. It's picked up by Missouri. Sam taking it in for the Mizzou touchdown.
Missouri beat Georgia at Athens to go 6-0, and I think that's when Tiger fans said this team is for real. Brittany?
Definitely. We are, if you're just joining us, we're at AT&T Stadium with Mizzou Extra Cotton Bowl pregame coverage. Now, typically, most bowl games, you've got 2 teams playing each other that don't play very often, but that's not the case with Missouri and Oklahoma State.
Not at all. When they were in the Big 8, they played each other every year. When they were in the Big 12, they played each other twice every 4 years. Here's a fun fact. The last time the 2 teams played against each other when they weren't in the same conference was 1952. But this is 62 years later, and it's a totally different story. KOMU 8's Chris Trevino looks at the rivalry between Mizzou and OSU.
The history between the Missouri Tigers and their Cotton Bowl opponent dates back to 1915, when the current Cowboys were known as the Oklahoma A&M Aggies. Mizzou was part of the Big Six, while Oklahoma A&M was in the Southwest Conference. Then in 1957, Oklahoma A&M changed its name to Oklahoma State and became Mizzou's official Big 8 Conference opponent in 1960. In total, the 2 have faced off on the gridiron 51 times, with Mizzou holding a 28-23 series lead. The Tigers have not picked up a win against OSU since 2005, when they won in Stillwater 38-31.
Option play, Ekwu. He looks like he wants to throws it right sideline for Coffee into the end zone, makes the reception, touchdown Missouri on the option play.
The last 3 conference games for the schools all resulted in a Tiger loss. 28-23 in 2008, 33-17 in 2009, and 45-24 in 2011.
Randall into the secondary. Randall to the 40. Randall may go to the 20, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown, Oklahoma State.
For the Mizzou Extra, Chris Gervino, KOMU 8 Sports.
Chris, thank you very much. About 15 minutes ago, I mentioned that the Oklahoma State Cowboys had taken field, and here come the Tigers. First time the Tigers have been on the field this afternoon. Brittany, you've got Eric Hilt with us.
Yes. Now, we've done a lot of talking this week about Jerry's house, AT&T Stadium. It is an incredible stadium for the Mizzou and Oklahoma State football teams to play in, but to get it ready for this game, transforming the field into the Cotton Bowl field specifically took quite a bit of work, and you caught up with some of the staff here about what went into that process.
Yeah, less than a week ago, the Dallas Cowboys were playing the Philadelphia Eagles right here behind us. Since then, a lot of hours of work have gone into getting the stadium ready for the Cotton Bowl, and fans who are at the game are going to see a stadium that looks nothing like it did just 5 days ago. On Sunday, the field at AT&T Stadium looked like this, but the house Jerry built underwent a huge makeover this week.
Monday, we were able to roll up the field, so everything between the sidelines gets rolled up. We put that field away in storage, and we rolled down our college field.
It took 40 people 8 hours of work to turn Cowboy Field into the Cotton Bowl field, and that's just step one.
Throughout the rest of the building, we have ribbon boards and over 3,000 TV monitors.
Signs, posters, even doors. Today, AT&T Stadium looks nothing like it did a week ago.
We can paint the end zones to customize them to fit the schools. We then need to spend time brushing it. Painting the end zones takes a couple of hours for each one of those. So there's a lot of things, the little things that go into it that take a little bit of time.
But the high-tech stadium makes it easier than it sounds.
We're able to change the look and feel of the building with digital files and electronically rather than having to cover up signs or put new signs up.
And now it's ready to host the matchup between Mizzou and Oklahoma State. Eric Hilt, KOMU 8 News, Dallas.
6 years ago when Missouri played Arkansas in the Cotton Bowl, Brittany Pieper, as a student, was part of our coverage. I shared the anchor responsibilities with Megan Murphy. She joins us outside along with Emily Spain. Ladies, take it away.
We're here outside of AT&T Stadium, and boy, it is getting colder out here as the sun goes.
Colder and crazier. It's pretty wild. Speaking of crazy, one of the best players on the Mizzou football team this year has been Michael Sam. KOMU 8's Mihir Bhagat has been covering Michael Sam all season, and you have something pretty interesting to tell us about one of Mizzou's stars.
Hey, ladies, this is the culmination of one of the best seasons in Mizzou football history, and it not only helps earning respect this year, but it helps recruiting as well. Recruits are looking at Missouri's success and saying, hey, I want to be a part of that. And of course, the success starts at Missouri's dominant defensive line, and one of the stars, as you mentioned, Michael Sam. But his teammate Coney Ely told me that Sam has a unique skill off the field that not a lot of people know about.
From Hitchcock, Texas, number 52.
We've seen Michael Sam sack dance, even at graduation.
Michael Allen Sam.
But did you know he also dances and sings at practice?
Well, he's got a great voice. He can sing. The voice of Fergie and Jesus mixed together.
He's a natural, man. He's good. He's pretty good.
He knows every song that comes on. He knows the song. I don't care what song it is or what genre.
Wherever it comes to my head, it could be anything, rock, country, rap.
He's not bad. Don't tell him I said that, but he's not too bad at it. But he loves old school music, which so do I.
Actually, rap wasn't allowed in our house, and the only music I could listen to was Motown oldies.
Whether it's old school or new school, one thing's for certain.
You fall in love right away with it. You just want to hear it every day after that, and you do.
He sings just about every day, especially in meetings, so Coach Cool gets mad at him sometimes.
There's a right time and the right place to sing. I don't know if Michael Sam knows that.
I just want to make practice easier.
Michael's Michael. He's one of a kind.
So the only thing standing in the way of the All-American winning a Grammy Award is LaDamian Washington.
Michael Sam cannot sing. I hate when he sings, but he's my teammate and I love him, so I'm not going to ruin his dreams to become a singer. With anything he want to be in life, I'm going to support him, but his singing is horrible.
All right, we're back here. We've got some great little guests with us.
Check out this face paint.
I know, so cute, little Tiger fans. So their dad is Coach Otterbacher for the Missouri Tigers, and you might remember back at the Cotton Bowl back in 2006, we had a Cotton Bowl baby.
We sure did.
Missouri family got a Cotton Bowl baby.
Right next to me.
Yes, he is. This is Kane Charles Cotton Otterbacher. Cotton for the Cotton Bowl.
Exactly, it made it in. So that was at the last time Missouri played. So, Kane, how old are you, buddy?
I'm 6.
What did you do for your birthday party?
I forgot.
Reagan.
Did you celebrate in Dallas down here? Yes. Are you excited about the game?
Yes.
Why?
Because it was when I was born.
And Reagan, do you want to say anything to the nurses who delivered your brother?
Thank you for bringing a wonderful brother, Nancy and Gay.
Oh, so
She
sweet.
was thanking the nurse that delivered her brother.
That's so
Happy
sweet.
birthday, Kay.
We're so happy you guys are with us. We're going to send it up to KOWA's Lucas Geisler, who's going to talk about all the fans who've been traveling. I'm sorry, baby. All the fans who've been traveling in for the Cotton Bowl this week.
I met Eric Rumpf of Jefferson City this morning, who says that he's very difficult to surprise. And while you may know him but have never seen him, his family definitely put this claim to the test.
Cotton Bowl tickets. That's yours? You're joking, you're right.
Really blown away. I mean, it was the best Christmas gift I've ever got in my life.
Eric Rumpf's reaction to his Christmas present may have been better than the gift itself. His family surprised him with 2 tickets to the Cotton Bowl.
I've been a Mizzou fan my whole life. I grew up going to games. My dad went to games with my dad for many years. He actually has tiger paws on his headstone.
Eric's wife Sherilyn coordinated the effort with Eric's best friend, Rodney Davis. Eric and Rodney both work at the Missouri State Highway Patrol and split the cost of gas and hotel to afford the trip.
I was like, man, I wish I had enough leave time. I'd take off work, and you know, if I could afford the tickets, I'd go to the Cotton Bowl. And he said he was just laughing on the inside because he knew what was already going on. And they had already set this up with my boss, and apparently everybody there knew except me.
In Arlington for the Mizzou Extra, Lucas Geisler, KOMU 8 News.
We'll take a look at the previous Cotton Bowls.
This has been year 2 in the SEC, and the Missouri fans have really been trying to show their support because Missouri's really been able to prove itself in this conference.
Absolutely, and the previous times that Mizzou has played here in the Cotton Bowl, they've had great success, so we're going to take a look back at those 2 games.
Owens, zone read to Moore, loses the football, picked up by Golden. Marcus Golden's got an open field. The young man from Afton to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the house. Touchdown, Missouri.
Marcus Goldman with an incredible touchdown for the Mizzou defense.
Now, long before SEC play started for the Tigers, fans are pretty excited about their pre-conference schedule. 4-0 in non-conference games.
KOMU 8's Chris Trevino takes a look at that quick start.
The Missouri Tigers began their second season in the SEC with 4 non-conference games. The season kicked off at home against Murray State. Senior James Franklin threw for 318 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Throw it, seam pattern, caught. Touchdown, Darius White.
But the highlight moment of the game was Henry Josey's 113 rushing yards and 13 carries, including a 68-yard touchdown on his first game back.
Running right side, Josey gets outside to the 45, to the 50, to the 40 of Murray State. Right sideline, outruns the defender to the 10, to the 5, dives to the end zone, and to the house. Welcome back, Angleton, Texas native.
Mizzou picked up the win, 58-14. Game 2 came against Coach Pinkel's former school, Toledo. Franklin put on another stellar showing to lead the team in passing and rushing with 289 total yards. Mizzou beat Toledo 38-23. After the first bye of the season, the Tigers traveled to Indiana for their first road game. The Mizzou offense scored 39 points, while the defense contributed 6, thanks to Coney Ely.
This could be a touchdown. Heading the other way. Coney Ely, touchdown, Missouri.
Mizzou wins 45-28. The Tigers completed non-conference play at home against Arkansas State. The team fought through wet conditions with James Franklin leading the way, throwing for 255 yards and 3 scores. Mizzou concluded the non-conference schedule with a perfect 4-0 record. For the Mizzou Extra, Chris Gervino, KOMU 8 Sports.
Chris, thank you very much. Coming up, it weighs more than 1 million pounds with a price tag of $35 million. It's the big screen at Jerry's Big House.
And then blood, sweat, and rock and roll. That's what his teammates describe Max Cloakland as. We'll take a look at that player.
6 yards on the run. This could be a double pass. It will be. Sasser looking downfield. Into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown. LaDamian Washington with a huge grab.
I'll start. Welcome back. Still quite a party here at AT&T Stadium. Everybody's starting to get inside.
We're trying to dance to stay with
We really are. There's a great band behind us. The Dallas local band here has been playing and really getting the crowd going for that football game.
There was a much bigger crowd. They opened the doors at about 5 o'clock, and the fans started going in. There's still a lot of people walking up to the A&T Stadium, though, which is just incredible.
It's absolutely amazing. One of the biggest things in there is the scoreboard. My gosh, KOMU 8's Bryn Whitaker is here. You specifically did a story just on that, scored 8th largest in the world.
I did indeed. The video board just inside the AT&T Stadium is worth $35 million, which, interestingly enough, is the equivalent cost of building the former Dallas Cowboys' entire stadium. So it costs a pretty penny. Yeah, not a big deal. What's different about this video board as well is that it's a lot closer to the turf than most video boards in most stadiums, making it easier for the video board to affect the game.
At 1.2 million pounds, the AT&T Stadium's video board weighs about as much as a herd of 80 African elephants. It's the 8th largest video screen in the world, and it's half the length of the field it hangs over. The video board affects fans, but could it affect the game?
I'm not too worried about that. There's been a couple times after practice where I've tried to hit it, just see if I could, but I haven't hit it yet.
During a preseason game earlier this year, Dallas Cowboys punter Chris Jones kicked the ball, hitting the underbelly of the board. But Mizzou's punter Christian Brinzer isn't worried for today's Cotton Bowl game.
We've had a few other punters on our team that have been trying to hit it, and no one's really came that close. In a game, I won't even think about it.
But another teammate is thinking about it.
I feel like it's too obvious you're looking at the scoreboard here because, you know, most games you just have to do this, but here you have to, like, twist your back and, like, look up. So I think I'm going to try to keep my eyes off the scoreboard. It's too pretty.
In Arlington, for Mizzou Extra, Bryn Whitaker, KOMU 8 News.
I'm looking forward to watching that game.
I can't wait to see our guys on that field.
I know, and on that screen.
I know.
Be pretty
and we heard from a couple of parents that it's actually hard to focus on the field sometimes because you want to see the players. Yeah, pretty great. Coming up, a look at how the Missouri Tigers have shown they really could compete in the SEC.
And we've got a pretty neat story. You know, everyone wears their Mizzou gear when they come to these games, but one man is wearing a special jersey tonight. We'll tell you the story behind that coming up.
Mock wants to throws it. Seam pattern wide open, running to the 30. Out runs the defender, breaks away at midfield. He's going to go to the 40, to the 10, to the house. Touchdown, Missouri, 96 yards.
LaDamian Washington, 96 yards, the longest scoring play this year for the Tigers.
Now, Mizzou looked pretty good after their 4 non-conference wins we just talked about, but after those early SEC wins, particularly Georgia and Florida, it was clear this team was something special.
KOMU 8's Chris Trevino takes a look at Mizzou's quick start in the SEC.
The Missouri Tigers began their second season of league play in the SEC at Vanderbilt. Mizzou scored on its first 6 possessions to lead 30-7 at halftime. The Tigers left Nashville with a 5-0 record in their first conference win of the season, winning 51-28. Mizzou headed into its first top 25 matchup as the 25th-ranked Tigers took on the 7th-ranked Georgia Bulldogs. A scary moment for Tiger fans when senior quarterback James Franklin went down with a shoulder injury.
He took a hit when he threw that ball away.
But thanks to some defense.
Murray, he throws a horrible interception to Ponder.
And some gutsy play calling.
This could be a double pass. It will be. Sasser looking downfield. Into the end zone. It's caught. Touchdown.
The Tigers beat the Bulldogs 41-26. In his first career start for Missouri, quarterback Matty Mock looked like a veteran. He threw for 295 yards and a touchdown. Andrew Baggett led the team in scoring 19 points to help the Tigers improve to 7-0 with a 36-17 win. Mizzou's homecoming game started off with a bang as the Tigers led South Carolina 17-0 heading to the fourth quarter. But soon after quarterback Connor Shaw entered the game for South Carolina, things were tied up. In the second overtime, the Tigers needed a field goal to keep the game alive, but Andrew Baggett hit the left upright. That left the Tigers with their first loss, 27-24. For KOMU 8 Sports.
Chris, thank you very much for that look back at the beginning of the SEC. Matty Glab joins us. Matty, if I were to put on a football helmet and just keep busting it on the bridge of my nose, what might happen?
You might break a scab open that you possibly had right about here. Mizzou offensive lineman Max Copeland is a rock and roll type of brother with a big personality and some big long hair. And while at Mizzou, Copeland also achieved some big dreams. He went from walk-on to receiving a scholarship to starting. We pick up this story during Mizzou's last home game, also known as Senior Night, where Copeland rocked his long locks and some crazy eyes, which is totally him.
I think I might be the only one that knows me.
The man, the myth, the legend. He could star in the movie Braveheart. So he would just walk in and they'd hire him. Smelly, rock and roll, funny.
I think I bring the rock and roll. It's just the beard, puking, bleeding. Yeah, that's the holy triumvirate of Max Copeland.
There's a guy that kept his nose and his whole head to the grindstone tonight. Our man, Copeland.
You don't think he loves that?
No, he's not even going to wipe that off when the game's over.
It's that Santa Claus beard, that just gets you right there. A receding hairline, but with great hair in the back. That's why he always wears the bandana, to be honest.
I think he should be a poker player or something like that.
You know, he's a fiery dude who people think he's just putting on a front, but he's the same cat you get closed doors and open doors.
He's a guy, literally, when I'm coming into the weight room, he's in there. When I'm leaving, he's still in there. If I go home and come back, he'd be in the weight room still. I mean, that's just the type of guy he is.
Not anybody that outworks him. Just don't tell him he can't do something, because you're not going to get a scholarship here. Well, he got a scholarship. You're not going to play here. Well, he played here. You're not going to start here. Well, he started here and had a real good year. So that's kind of the message for Max Copeland.
You can always walk in a room and somehow be the hardest working, and you can do that anywhere. And I wanted to make anything I accomplish here a testament to that.
For the Mizzou Extra, I'm Maddie Glab, KOMU 8 News, Arlington, Texas.
This is not Mizzou's first trip to the Cotton Bowl. It's their third time to play in this game. And the first two times, they set a few records. Eric Hill joins us now with more on the history.
Now, most people will remember the last time Mizzou played in the Cotton Bowl. It was just 6 years ago in 2008. But you probably remember the first time they played. It was all the way back in 1946. And even though those two games were more than half a century apart, they have a lot in common.
If you had to describe Missouri's history at the Cotton Bowl with one phrase, it would be record-breaking. The Tigers have set 5 Cotton Bowl records with just 2 visits to the game. Missouri's first appearance at the Classic came in 1946, where Mizzou broke 3 team records in a losing effort against a Texas team led by future NFL Hall of Famer Bobby Lane. Mizzou set records for most first downs, most total yards, and most yards rushing in the game, a record that still stands. It would be another 62 years before Mizzou made it back to the Cotton Bowl, but in 2008, the Tigers continued to break bowl records. Missouri running back Tony Temple rushed for a bowl record 281 yards and 4 touchdowns, and neither of those records have been broken. Also in the 2008 edition of the Cotton Bowl, Missouri quarterback Chase Daniel threw 4 touchdowns and tied the record for most passing touchdowns in a Cotton Bowl, a record set by Texas's Bobby Lane in 1946.
Eric, thank you very much. Brittany, if you look behind us, both teams are now in full pads. Kickoff is about an hour away.
And it's definitely getting loud and exciting in here, but there's still a lot of fans outside the stadium. So let's check back in with Emily and Megan as all of these fans are starting to arrive.
Hi, Missouri. We're out here outside the AT&T Stadium. We're a little cold, but we've been dancing in between the breaks to stay warm. We've been getting some interesting stares, but that's okay. Our feet are warmer, right? So we've been having a lot of fun out here.
It's been a great celebration, another wonderful celebration in the city of Dallas because there's such a large contingency of Mizzou alum.
Absolutely. We've got reporters all over the place, and we've got one at that convention center.
KMUH's Lucas Geisler has more on what's going on over there.
The Arlington Convention Center is all but empty now, and the Chants of MIZ have made their way to the short walk to the AT&T Stadium. And believe me, it is very easy to see you from here. It's very well lit up, and it's not so hard to find if you're making your way from the convention center. Now, over the past few days, I spoke to many alumni who have made their way down to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they've said that no one puts on a party like the Cotton Bowl does, especially this year's Cotton Bowl. We spoke to Lana and Jason Zehrer, who are medical school graduates in 1999 and 2001, and said they've been to about half of the bowl games that Mizzou has been in the past decade, and that this was definitely the largest one, both in terms of the scope of the party that's being put on, as well as the amount of alumni making their way down here. They also said that the last Cotton Bowl berth that Mizzou had in 2008 would probably be the second biggest one. So the Dallas-Fort Worth area definitely knows how to bring the alumni down and gets a good following from Mizzou whenever they play in the bowl. Now, we're very close to kickoff for Missouri and the Oklahoma State Cowboys. Plenty of Oklahoma State alumni as well who also agreed that the Cotton Bowl is a huge experience, and that's coming from Oklahoma State fans who have been to some of those BCS bowls that the Cowboys have been in the past few years. Reporting live in Arlington for the Mizzou Extra, Lucas Geisler, KOMU 8 News.
Hey, Brittany, remember homecoming 2013 against South Carolina?
It was rough.
It's a game Tiger fans would like to forget.
But coming up, we'll take a look at how the team rebounded after that heartbreak.
Hey everyone, well, looking at a quick recap at our weather real quick here. Tonight we're going to eventually get down to 27 degrees here by 11 p.m. We're going to be windy and mostly clear tonight. We're going to get up to about 38 degrees tomorrow morning, or tomorrow afternoon really, before the snow starts. Now we could start with a little bit of a mix of snow and rain here, but we aren't expecting any major icing. The temperatures are going to drop rapidly here, and it's going to turn to snow very quickly. Northwest winds 10 to 15 miles an hour, gusting up to 25 miles an hour. So a lot of heavy icing can be expected with this as well. Now ignore this part of the graphic real quick here. We're going to go right past it here, and we're going to eventually get to our totals here that we can expect here in the next couple before Sunday morning here. If it decides to show up here in just a second. We're getting there. Here we go. This is what we can expect from this system here. 3 to 6 inches here in major Missouri, 6 to 10 down as we head south. That's a quick look at your weather. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You know, diehard football fans, if you have one shirt you wear and the team wins, you got to wear that shirt again, or the same pair of socks. It's just that superstition.
Right, the superstition. You know, some people are like, maybe if I went to that game, we actually would have won.
Right.
Just the fact of actually showing up.
Inside out. You never know. It never makes
sense.
Just the way it is.
And we've got a special fan that we want to talk about specifically tonight. One of our reporters, KOMU8's Jonathan Deutsch, is going to join us now. He got a chance to sit down with one special guy to hear his story.
Yeah, we've seen a ton of jerseys out here tonight, people going in with their special gear and everything.
Definitely.
But one Mizzou fan is wearing a very special jersey tonight, and his mind is going to be on a lot more than just the game on the field.
A jersey. It can symbolize pride and support for your team.
I may be the only person in the entire stadium that's wearing a 1997 Holiday Bowl game-worn jersey.
Or maybe sadness and old memories.
I don't really remember a whole lot about what was happening or where I was. The part that I do remember is getting that phone call.
Rimmer's fraternity brother, Greg Mitchell, was a walk-on who was in uniform for Missouri's 1997 Holiday Bowl.
He had a dream of playing Division I football, and it was always big for him to be on our team and certainly going to the bowl games.
Mitchell never played, but he loved wearing black and gold.
He accomplished a goal that everyone else thought was unattainable by just walking out onto the field in a uniform.
But Mitchell never got to fully pursue life after football. In 2008, Mitchell was murdered at his home in Arizona.
It's hard to talk about.
You know, I had no details. All I had was just somebody losing it on the phone and telling me that Greg had been shot and killed.
He was a great guy, and you want to be around him all the time. And now thinking, man, he's not going to be there anymore. Boy, that's a tough one to swallow. So he was a wonderful man.
After the murder, Rimmer became close to Mitchell's father, Glenn.
I wanted to be able to have something that meant a little bit more than just a photograph. Those pictures are going to be the only pictures that I'll ever be able to take with him.
I'm pleased that somebody wants it, things like that. If I keep around, nobody's ever going to see them.
Glenn gave Rimmer the jersey in November, but he hasn't worn it yet because he wants the first time to be the day of the Cotton Bowl.
And I do expect it to be pretty awesome. Not only for the fact that I'll be wearing his jersey to the game, but knowing that I'll be able to keep it forever afterwards, and to be able to share that experience with other people.
For Mizzou fans, this year's Cotton Bowl will be about creating new memories. For Ryan Rimmer, it will be about remembering the old ones. In Dallas for the Mizzou Extra, Jonathan Deutsch, KOMU 8 News.
Thank you, Jonathan Deutsch, for that story.
We've seen a lot of fans are all making their way in. We're getting excited to get in there.
I know, we are excited. We need a chance to thaw out a little bit, too. But the gates open at about 5 o'clock, so we've slowly seen people kind of head their way in. There's a few lingering, but
just a few, not too many. We'll have much more coming from the AT&T Stadium here in Dallas after the break.
Bigger, something more important than any other competition. World Championships and World Cups, it's just another race. The Olympics is something more.
Down to the finish line, Lindsey Vonn into the lead by more than a half second.
Winning the Olympic gold medal in Vancouver was amazing, but I'm going to be ready to go for Sochi.
She has been the best, and she wants nothing more than Olympic gold.
Missouri high school basketball players are ready to play at the home of the Tigers.
Join KOMU 8 and MFA Oil for the Show Me State Games MFA Oil Break Time Shootout, January 26th at Mizzou Arena.
Be there for the excitement as 12 of the state's top high school basketball teams face off.
All-day tickets are available now at participating schools and break time convenience stores.
Proceeds benefit the Show Me State Games. Visit smsg.org for more information.
As this is blocked. Loose football. Kentucky recovers at the 4. But Landon Foster's having a tough day as Kentucky's punter. He's blocked by Levi Copeland.
Levi Copeland with a blocked punt against Kentucky as the Tigers won that one 48-17.
Now we just heard quite a few cheers coming from this side of the stadium where most of the Mizzou fans are sitting as the Mizzou football team's getting ready to play. And after the heartbreaker to South Carolina, the guys behind us here really bounced back.
KOMU 8's Chris Trevino takes a look at how the Tigers made it all the way to the SEC championship game.
A week after a heartbreaking loss at Furrow Field, the Tigers were able to bounce back against a rebuilding Tennessee team. Matty Mock helped fuel Mizzou's efforts, passing for 163 yards and 3 touchdowns while running for 114 and a TD of his own. The Tigers rolled the Vols 31-3. In his 4th straight start, Mock threw 5 touchdown passes against Kentucky, 4 to sophomore Dorial Green Beckham. Missouri's 48-17 win over the Wildcats moved the Tigers to 9-1. Following the final bye week of the season, James Franklin returned as Missouri's starting quarterback. Franklin threw for just 142 yards in his return, but Henry Josie helped the team put up the points, scoring 2 touchdowns. The 24-10 win gave Coach Pinkel his 100th victory at Mizzou. In the final regular season game, the only thing standing in the way of winning the SEC East for Mizzou, Texas A&M. But on senior night, veteran quarterback James Franklin threw for 233 yards and 2 scores. And with the game tied and a little more than 3.5 minutes to play, Henry Josie exploded.
Josie running left, cuts it back right, gets a breakaway to midfield, to the 40, being chased to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, to the house. Henry Josie.
His 57-yard touchdown helped Mizzou win the East and sent the Tigers to Atlanta.
Here comes the crowd onto the field to celebrate with their Tigers.
Mizzou made its first trip to the SEC championship game in only its 2nd year as a member of the conference. Henry Josie and Dorial Green Beckham put up strong showings for the Tigers, but the defense struggled to stop Auburn's running game, sending Mizzou home empty-handed and one win shy of a national championship game. For the Mizzou Extra, Chris Gervino, KOMU 8 Sports.
One of the Missouri coaches is very familiar with both Cotton Bowl contenders.
Right. Coming up, how Josh Henson has helped shape
Our first and goal for Missouri. Maddie Mock with time, steps up, now running to the left side, gets the same to the 50, Mock to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Missouri. The kid from the Kenton, Ohio, his first rushing touchdown.
How about that? Maddie Mock helping the Tigers beat Florida that afternoon 36-17.
Now, you may not realize it, but there's an Oklahoma State coach who played for Missouri and a Missouri coach who played for Oklahoma State.
His name would be Josh Henson, and KOMU 8's Brent Pearson has that story.
Missouri offensive coordinator Josh Henson is familiar with Oklahoma State. Henson grew up in Tuttle, Oklahoma, and attended Oklahoma State. He played on the offensive line and graduated in 1998. Following graduation, he joined the coaching staff under his college coach, Les Miles. In 2004, when Miles made the move to LSU, Henson followed. In 2009, Henson came to Missouri.
I was coached by a great position coach, Les Miles, so a lot of things that he taught me as a player are some of the same things I'm teaching these guys to play with.
Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy is one of the only remaining pieces left from Henson's time. Even with his ties to his old team, playing his alma mater doesn't mean much.
I'm just looking forward to us getting down there and playing another great football game. Other than that, it doesn't mean anything to me. It just means I want to win, really, is the only thing it means to me. It's another game, it's another opponent, and got to go win the game.
Henson says Oklahoma State will always be his home, but
Missouri is my team now, and the guys I go out here and sweat with every day and work with every day, these are the guys that I want to see have success.
Closer and closer to kickoff here in Dallas.
Mizzou Extra continues right after this break.
Brings the man in motion, deep handoff, running right side. Josie gets outside to the 45, to the 50, to the 40 of Murray State, right sideline, outruns the defender to the 10, to the 5, dives to the end zone, and to the house. Welcome back, Angleton, Texas native, Henry Josie.
We are so excited to see those Tigers play here at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas, Texas at the AT&T Stadium. We're excited to go inside and warm up.
And it's been really great seeing all the fans file in. We got a lot of MIZ chants, and we actually saw Corby Jones, the all-MU quarterback, walking in. Hey, Corby!
Yeah,
it was really
been a lot of fun. And a lot of viewers have come up and said hi. Oh, it's KOMU. Yep. So that's been fun, too, just to see a lot of Mid-Missourians.
It's been a wonderful week here in Dallas. We hope you appreciated our pregame coverage because we've loved being able to send it to you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Now we need to tell Jim and Brett something.
Yeah, you guys.
A seat in that press box.
Yes.
Because they're warm.
Yeah.
And we want to get in there. Thanks so much for sticking with us. We're going to send it back inside.
There are more and more fans starting to pack in here at AT&T Stadium. You can just feel the excitement both in the stands and on the fields. We've actually had a couple of close calls with the guys warming up right behind us.
Couple of things. This is south. This is north. This side, which would be the west side, that is the Oklahoma State side, which is the visiting side. This is the Mizzou side. Right now, the fans look about 50-50. Because of rotation, Mizzou is the home team. So Missouri will be wearing the home gold uniforms top, black bottoms. I've had a little bit of time to think about this game, just like the two teams have had a lot of time to prepare for the game. Both teams have played very well. Oklahoma State is 10-2, Missouri is 11-2. They've had a month to prepare for this game. Both teams are coming off losses. Oklahoma State stubbed their toe against Oklahoma. Missouri could not keep up with Auburn. Since the two teams have had a month to prepare, I think one of the keys to the game is which team can react the quickest to the other team's mistakes. In other words, Oklahoma State watched how Auburn moved the ball so easily against the Mizzou defense. What can they do to replicate replicate that? Will they try some misdirection plays? Will they try some screen passes? Then again, Oklahoma State did not play very well against Oklahoma. The Tigers have had 4 weeks to take a look at that.
Watch that game, see how can we capitalize on this.
Exactly. So I think that's one of the keys. I also think that there is more riding on this game than the players and the coaches have let on. This is a huge game, not just
both teams.
Right, not just for Missouri and Oklahoma State, but I think what happened last night in New Orleans is huge. Oklahoma put it to Alabama. Alabama was a 17-point favorite. Alabama let down the SEC last night in New Orleans. Oklahoma State would like to do the same thing against Mizzou. As I said, there's a lot more riding on this game.
So even though the coaches don't want to talk about a Big 12 SEC rivalry,
it is there.
It's there, and there's a lot riding on. Kickoff in about an hour, less than an hour
The
now.
Oklahoma State tunnel is right there. I guarantee the Oklahoma State coaches have been preaching to the players, this is a big ball game. You've got to put the SEC in the back seat instead of the front seat. I think it's going to be a great game. Once again, the team that makes the fewer mistakes will come out the winner.
And this is where the national championship game will be played next year. So you know both of these teams are kind of hoping that this will be a dress rehearsal for next season.
Hey, let's go back to Dallas next year and play for the national championship.
I think it'd be great.
We
Thanks
hope
for
you've
joining
enjoyed
us.
our coverage. Good night, everyone.
Have a great time watching the Cotton Bowl.